Coming up on Mountain News this morning, Governor Andy Beshear announces some major funding for infrastructure in our region, and a special event all about innovation is set to take place right here in Perry County.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. It's only Tuesday. I'm Dakota Makris at 6 o'clock. Let's take it over to Brandon for a look at some active weather moving through the region this morning.
Well, I'd categorize it.
Yeah, not really raining right here in Hazard. And I'm upset because I didn't hear the rain last night, and I love hearing the rain when I'm sleeping.
I can tell you, it was probably about, at least at the house, I'm sure it was over here a little earlier than that. I'd say about 2:30, 2:30.
Oh, no,
so he's probably long asleep.
I was long asleep.
Listen, I get up at 12:30 every night. I'm ready to go. You're still snoozing away by the time I get up. But anyway, we get into the forecast this morning, and a lot of folks seeing some rain as you head out the door. We're going to continue to see that coming through the region there. Basically, about 2:30, 3 o'clock, it went through Hazard, Dakota. So there you go. We see that heavy band of rain come through earlier, and now we're seeing some more trying to fill in out toward Lake Cumberland. US 119, US 23 at Pikeville. Even if it's not raining in your area right now, you'll still have some wet roads out there and some fog may be forming, so be careful. 50 in Clintwood, 59 in Monticello, 55 in Hazard, 57 in London, Prestonsburg, 56 in Pikeville, 57 in Logan, and 55 in Moorhead. 68 is our average high for this time of the year. 71 is our forecast high. 83 the record set back on this day in 2014. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you. Lawmakers returned to Frankfort on Wednesday to focus on overriding several high-profile bills vetoed by Governor Andy Beshear. It will also be lawmakers' last chance to pass legislation, including the high-profile sports betting bill. Chad Hedrick explains.
It's an attraction that supporters say would appeal companies to Kentucky.
It is just a way to provide options for skilled workforce, trying to attract businesses and trying to attract talent.
It's down to the wire if sports betting legislation will pass through the Kentucky Senate this week. Supporters like the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce are hoping their message of how the Commonwealth will benefit is enough to call it for a final vote.
Everybody else has it. We don't see major problems coming from it, and those are just dollars going to other states.
Senate President Robert Stivers argues there isn't a fiscal issue sports betting would solve and adds Kentucky has bigger draws with horse betting and the bourbon tourism.
It's not the main course when you start thinking about horse racing and those things. It's not going to generate a lot of money. I just think it creates a lot of division in my caucus. And because of that, I don't really want to deal with the issue.
A poll released by the chamber shows the wide range of support for the legislation. A new report released by GeoComply details an apparent interest. Last month, more than 530,000 attempts to place a bet in Kentucky were blocked. Data also identified 41,000 unique sportsbook accounts in Kentucky. But not everyone is on board. Kentucky Baptist Convention shared this tweet Monday, calling for people to call their senators to oppose House Bill 606.
When you see so many different Kentuckians from all different areas going to different states, just crossing the border and opening their app and placing a bet, and driving right back home.
Chad Hedrick, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, the bill sponsor says he has been talking to senators. Some say yes to the bill, some say no, and others who are, quote, keeping their cards close to the vest. Well, Governor Andy Beshear has vetoed a bill that would allow attorneys to carry a gun in the courtroom. The governor says his veto comes at the request of the Chief Justice of the Kentucky Supreme Court and the judicial branch. Now, the governor raised concerns over the bill, calling it dangerous. The bill would allow licensed lawyers in Kentucky to carry a concealed weapon in courthouses. The governor says he's done reviewing all the bills sent to him, including a 2-year spending plan. Well, the governor says he agrees with a lot of how lawmakers decided to spend billions of taxpayers' dollars, but he says more could have been done. The governor says he's signing the budget that gives state workers an 8% wage increase and state troopers a $15,000 pay hike. After years of cuts, higher education will receive tens of millions more in funding, but the governor says lawmakers should have included teachers in the mandated raises, and he says a need remains for universal preschool.
We're ready and willing to work with child care, but if we can step back and say, this isn't working. Let's find another way to do it. Universal pre-K is the fastest way to get us to where we need to go.
Senate leadership says they are going to reserve comment until the legislative process is finished later this week. Well, yesterday, the governor visited Laurel County to announce improvements to water and sewer infrastructure in the area. Nearly $3 million will go towards 8 major infrastructure projects in Laurel and Clay counties, largely aimed at improving the quality of drinking water in those areas. Well, Governor Andy Beshear says his cleaner water program is especially important for rural counties where clean water is more difficult to provide.
Well, this investment says to Eastern Kentuckians, we care about you and you count. We are on the precipice of an era of prosperity with the number of jobs coming in, and my commitment is Eastern Kentucky is going to be a big part of it, not left out.
Well, Governor Beshear also announced another $250 million in further funding for the Cleaner Water Project. Well, Governor also helped open a major transportation business in London yesterday. The WB Transport facility will have the capacity to handle more than 100 trucks a day just in receiving alone. 125 jobs have already been filled at the site, with 30 more still to come. Well, the WB Transport co-founder Randall Weddle says the 200,000 square foot facility is just phase one of the company's plans for the 20-acre site.
We should be breaking ground in the upcoming future for a 375,000 square foot building that's going to be located on the front side of this, and we're also excited about that.
Well, he also says the site will eventually be able to house more than 250 jobs. He says he's also glad he could bring jobs to his hometown. Road work is underway to change the traffic pattern at the intersection of US 60 and Boy Scout Road in Boyd County. Once work is done, traffic on Route 60 coming from Ashland will have a continuous green light, meaning drivers won't have to stop at the light. Eastbound, the light will stop traffic as usual, but in shorter cycles, allowing vehicles to cross to and from Boy Scout Road more quickly. Traffic turning left from Boy Scout Road will now have an accelerated merge lane.
Something we can do with very little cost that could have a potentially big impact on traffic congestion, by reducing the traffic congestion, as well as, there is a potential safety benefit.
Road work is expected to be completed at the end of April. Shaping Our Appalachian Region, or SOAR, has announced plans for its next mini-summit. We talked with organizers about what the event means for our region. Shaping Our Appalachian Region is coming to Hazard, bringing its Focus mini-summit to the community.
We're super excited that the topic is going to be innovation and entrepreneurship because, SOAR is the East Kentucky hub for the Kentucky Innovation Network.
Executive Director Colby Hall says they are bringing in experts from Lexington and Louisville who have seen growth in entrepreneurship along with venture capitalists.
1% of early stage funding ends up flowing to rural areas. Of all the digital workers or that are plugged into the digital economy, only 5% come from rural areas.
Saying they chose Hazard because of the more than 30 businesses that opened downtown since 2019.
You're seeing a community that's really kind of led its downtown revitalization through the support and encouragement of small business ownership.
Expecting to see 200 to 300 people attend the summit at Hazard Community and Technical College.
It's a really good opportunity, not only for the college, but for the region to promote all of the assets that we have here locally.
Working to close gaps to further Eastern Kentucky. In Hazard, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News. SOAR also announced more events. The 2022 SOAR Summit returns to Pikeville October 19th and 20th. Then in 2013, it is hosting its first ever SOAR Gala on January 26th at the Mountain Arts Center in Prestonsburg. Officials also say the 2023 SOAR Summit will be held in Corbin. Senator Rand Paul is honoring 2 law enforcement members for their heroism. Police say Trooper Michael Sanguini was conducting a traffic stop on Delta Court in Cynthiana back in January. A preliminary investigation states the man in the stopped vehicle shot the trooper 6 times. The three bullets hit his ballistic vest and 1 hit him. Officer Samantha Farrow with the Kentucky Fish and Wildlife was recognized for quickly getting to the scene and taking the trooper to the hospital. She adds that the trooper was not screaming in pain after he was hit, rather just in shock.
The adrenaline, you have such a high adrenaline rush, don't really know. I don't think he knew how many times he'd been shot or anything like that.
21-year-old Lequan Taylor is charged in the shooting of the trooper. He is facing multiple charges: attempted assault on an officer, unlawful possession of a weapon on school property, and a few new charges were also added after the incident.
Coming up on 6:10, and we are looking at some rain on live pinpoint Doppler radar. Still tracking that down near the Kentucky-Tennessee border, but it's starting to fill back into parts of Lake Cumberland and up into central Kentucky, so not quite done just yet. More rain on the way here in the next little bit. 50 Clintwood, 59 Monticello. That's the range this morning. 57 Williamsburg, Middlesboro, London, Jackson, Prestonsburg, Logan. Anywhere between 52 and 56 or 7 there is the range for everybody else. 71 this afternoon, chances for rain, especially early today, maybe clearing out later today, and we'll see again some sunshine possible late. Active weather pattern continues. Storms are possible tomorrow night. Some of those could be severe as a cold front finally starts moving again, and a dry start to Easter weekend as we look ahead. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you so much. More news is on the way. When we come back, the Biden administration announces some new regulations to address homemade firearms here in the U.S. Stay with us.